Hello folks. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the condenser microphone that comes with the Focusrite Scarlett Studio package. Now this comes with both the Scarlett Solo Studio and the Scarlett MKIII Studio. Now when you consider the cost that the Studio bundle adds over the interface by itself, this is a fairly inexpensive microphone, under $100 basically. But I wanted to compare it to a couple of other popular large diaphragm condenser microphones, just to give you kind of an idea of what you can get out of this microphone and what to expect from it. Now this isn't a totally fair comparison because both of these other microphones, in this case the Rode NT1 and the Lewitt LCT 440 Pure, cost more than the actual Solo Studio bundle that this microphone comes with. So it's not surprising that the specs of this microphone don't quite match the specs of the other two. But specifications aside, I wanted to go ahead and connect the microphone up to my interface and do some direct side-by-side comparisons with the other microphones, just to give you an idea of what kind of sound you can expect out of this microphone. So I'll get the first two set up and we'll see how they sound. Okay, so now I'm recording with both the Scarlett Studio microphone, the CM25, and that is the Mark III version that comes with the 3rd generation kits, as well as the Rode NT1. And just so I have something to talk about so that I can switch back and forth and you can, try and see the difference between the microphones, I'll just kind of talk about included accessories and specifications. Now, as far as some of the differences other than just the straight up sound, which you'll be hearing now as I switch back and forth, the Scarlett Studio kit does not come with a windscreen or a shock mount for the microphone. Now, I'm actually not using the included windscreen that comes with the Rode NT1 right now, just because it kind of has a tendency to block the view. I just have a ProScreen 101 set up kind of in front of both of them right now. But it also doesn't come with a shock mount. It just comes with kind of a simple standard mount, solid rigid mount. And that works okay. But just to give you kind of an idea of how much of a difference having a shock mount makes, there's a small metal ring on both of these mounts that kind of lock it tight. And I'm just going to very lightly rub my fingernail on each one of these so that you can see how much difference there is in transmitted noise without, with versus without a shock mount. First, the Focusrite Scarlett microphone, and like I said, just going to very lightly rub my fingernail on this little threaded screw. So you can see how much that sound, gets transmitted in. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the same screw, which is tightened against the Rode NT1's mount. A very small amount of low frequency rumble being transmitted in, but not nearly as much sound transmitted. So that's going to apply to everything from, bumping the arm to, tapping on your desk or anything like that. That stuff's just going to get transmitted into the microphone quite a lot more. Now, depending on your setup, it may or may not matter all that much to you, but it is possible you may end up looking for a shock mount for the Scarlett microphone. So that lack of a shock mount and pop filter could be part of what accounts for the cost difference between these two setups. And just so you know what we're dealing with here, the microphones are probably about 5 inches away from my mouth, so not too far, but I'm not right up on top of them either. Sensitivity seems fairly similar between the two of them. I have the gain set almost exactly the same on my interface for both microphones. If anything, the gain on the Rode NT1 might be set just a tiny bit higher. But it's a pretty small difference, and you could probably chalk that up to margin of error differences. But anyway, there you go, a little bit of an example of the difference in sound between the Focusrite Scarlett Studio microphone, the CM25 Mark III, and the Rode NT1. So now I'll switch out the NT1 for the Lewitt LCT 440 Pure. Alright, now we're recording with the Scarlett Studio microphone and the Lewitt LCT 440 Pure. And in this case, I can leave the included pop filter on the Lewitt because it is very small and doesn't block any view or anything. So I have the PS101 moved over so that it's just in front of the Scarlett Studio microphone. And just as a quick note for anybody curious, the shock mount that comes with the Lewitt LCT 440, it is effective, it does a pretty decent job, but not as good as the shock mount that comes with the Rode NT1. And just so you have the point of comparison, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing where I scratch my fingernail against that little knob on the mount, this time on the LCT 440 Pure. So as you can hear, not as effective as the mount on the Rode, but once again for comparison, definitely better than not having one at all, like the Scarlett Studio microphone is set up right now. And the Scarlett Studio microphone moves around a little bit more when I scratch at that knob, but I promise I'm not doing it any harder on this microphone. It's just that this microphone is mounted on a boom arm, so it moves a little easier. Now, in terms of specifications, the CM25 MKIII microphone is a bit behind the other two, which isn't surprising considering the cost difference. It is a 20mm capsule, which is a bit less than an inch, which the other two are both stated to have 1-inch capsules. So basically 20mm versus, 25.4. It also has a self-noise specification of 16 dB A-weighted, which is quite a bit more than the other two. The other two are rated somewhere around 4 to 7 dB A-weighted. But while specifications can tell you a lot, just listening to the microphones can tell you quite a bit also. So that's why we're here, to just listen to these microphones. You can see how they sound and decide if, one of them is good enough or definitely not good enough for you. And just a quick note for anybody curious, the Lewitt LCT440 is just a tiny bit more sensitive than the other two microphones. I have my gain set pretty much almost exactly at 12 o'clock on the Lewitt and just above 12 o'clock on the Scarlett CM25, and it was set just a hair even higher than that on the Rode NT1. So there you go, sound comparison between these three microphones. Hopefully that's helpful for anybody that is considering getting an interface and a microphone. Maybe you'll listen to this and decide that you're going to spend the extra money and get a different microphone and then a separate interface. Or maybe you'll listen to this and say, you know what, that Scarlett Studio microphone sounds just fine. I'm going to save a little bit of money and get a package that comes with everything. So if you have any questions or if there's anything else you want me to test with these microphones, or if you'd like me to compare the Scarlett Studio microphone to any of the others that I have that I've tested in the past, just go ahead and let me know in the comments. As always, thank you for watching. Take care.